Hi, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 14. Today I'm going to be making one of my probably most requested recipes from people in my life, especially coworkers, and that is the vegan chocolate chip walnut cookies that I make. This recipe is a pretty easy one. It's not that hard to do. There are a few things like tips and tricks that I've been doing since I've been making this so often for the past 2.5 years really, that I'm gonna give you. But besides that, it's a very easy recipe to do, and they're very easy cookies, and from what I can tell and how many times I get requested to make them weekly, people love them, even if they are not vegan. I am going to preface this, and I don't think I did with my last baking video, but I personally am not vegan. Vegan is a full lifestyle that I do not do everything for. That being said, I am 98.75% dairy free. I usually eat dairy around once or twice a year. And it's coming up because I'm going home to New York, so I'm definitely going to eat some pizza. But besides that, I'm basically completely dairy free. I do eat meat here and there. It's not something that is always part of my meals, but it is something that I do eat. So I do not want to get too far in this and people thinking that I am vegan, so then when I do eat meat or something like that, they're like, you did something wrong, which is a crazy thing that we do. So I am not completely vegan. I do try to eat as plant-based as possible throughout my life, just because of the way that it makes me feel. And then I am, again, basically dairy-free. I do eat cheese when it is, in my opinion, something that will make me either happy or reminiscent. If I'm vacationing somewhere and it's like a delicacy or it's something that they are very like well known for, I will eat it because I want to experience what that is. That's where I stand on that. I just didn't want to put this out there that I am vegan because I'm not. For these cookies, I am going to be using my Ninja food processor thingamabob that has a dough attachment. I never make the full dough in here, really. I cream together the butter, sugar, that type of stuff, and then I usually mix it by hand. But this is a great thing that I have. Eventually, I would like to upgrade to an actual like KitchenAid mixer, but we are not there yet, and I do not feel like I want to spend that money yet. So we are going to get started on this recipe. For this recipe, you are going to need 2/4 cup flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 cup butter, 3/4 cup sugar, 3/4 cup brown sugar, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2 cups chocolate chips, 1 cup walnuts, and then you're gonna need to replace 2 eggs. I have never made this recipe with actual eggs. I assume that it will work out, but I don't know, to be completely honest. So I am gonna get started on that. We are first going to preheat our oven to 350. That is done. And now we are going to beat butter, sugar, brown sugar, and vanilla all in there, and then add 1 egg at a time. I'm going to prep my egg replacer really quick as well. I have used a bunch of different egg replacers. All of them to me sort of do the same thing, so I don't have like a favorite one, but I am still going through this Bob's Red Mill egg replacer. So to replace 1 whole egg, you combine 1 tablespoon of this with 2 tablespoons water. So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of this, 4 tablespoons water to replace the 2 eggs that we need. Once you add in the water, you're also going to want to immediately start mixing it up. Once you have that, you're just going to mix this together. You want to try to get all of the clumps out that you can. If you feel it's smooth and solid and like runny, you're going to let it sit there while you get the rest of the ingredients ready. So now I'm going to bring together my butter. So we need 1 full cup of butter. I am using the Country Crock plant-based butter. I have used Earth Balance as well. That works just as fine. The only difference is that the Earth Balance you're going to want to let sit out for longer than this one. This butter to me softens really quickly, and we're gonna see later on that you don't want your butter too soft when you're baking these, but this is like a full $1.50, I think, cheaper than Earth Balance is right now, so I will choose that every single time. I break mine up into little cubes just because I feel like my processor deals with that a little bit better. So that is our 1 full cup of butter, and I'm going to add our sugars now. So it is 3/4 cup white sugar and then 3/4 cup brown sugar as well. So put that in all around. And brown sugar. I just used the light brown sugar. I don't remember if the original recipe said it needed to be packed. I do like a light packing. Like, I'm not trying to squeeze all of the air out of it, but I am going to make sure that I'm pushing it down. There is my 3/4 cup brown sugar. Again, I'm gonna put that in there and then sort of spread it out. And then I do add my vanilla right now because I want some liquid in there to make sure things are mixing around. So it is 1 teaspoon vanilla. We are going to mix this up. Once I feel like it is a little mixed, then I will add the egg on in there. Okay, it's sort of clumping up in there, which means it is about ready. I'm just gonna spread it out again, and then we add the egg one at a time. And by now your egg has like gotten real gelatiny. It actually looks really gross, and I think if like people who have never worked with it saw it, they'd be grossed out, but it does its job. So I added 1 little glob of that. I'm gonna mix it up for a little bit. Again, keep stirring it. Add the other egg in. And then do 1 last mix. So that is our wet ingredient. And if we're gonna be honest, it's not very wet. It is pretty like goopy and such, but that is what we're looking for. I add a little bit of flour to this to try to unstick some of the stuff. So in this bowl has our dry ingredients, which is the 2 1/4 cup flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and like 1/4 of a teaspoon salt, and then I mixed it all together, and now I'm just gonna add a little bit in here. I don't want too much because I don't want it to like blow up, but I want it to try to become more of a dough and less sticky for me. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And that is what I want. It's not as sticky as it was before, but it's not a complete dough yet. So I'm going to take it out. So basically what I do is I take out this middle piece first. I'm actually gonna pour some of this out. It comes out, pick it up, just take some of this stuff off of here. This is where your hands are gonna get the messiest, or at least for me, because I need to get it all out of all of these little crevices. But if you have a KitchenAid mixer or you just mix it yourself, it's as bad. We'll say if you're going to mix it by hand, I do recommend taking any butter out because you're gonna want that soft enough that it's not gonna take you forever to cream it together with the sugar and stuff. And once we're done with that, get as much dough out of here as possible. And a lot of you may be saying this is taking a lot of time to get it out of there. Is it worth it? For me, it is because of how much I make these cookies, that the creaming it together part, it makes it so much quicker that I don't really care that it takes me a little bit longer. The worst part of baking to me is creaming together butter and sugar. If you do it by hand, it takes forever. If you use if I use this machine, then I can't get everything out of there. That's why I really want a KitchenAid mixer. That's as good as I'm gonna get that. So this is also when I'm gonna get my mix-ins ready. So you need 2 cups of chocolate chips. I've learned that 1 whole bag equals 2 cups basically. And 1 cup of walnuts, just so that they're ready for when I want to mix them on in. And now I'm going to mix this up, and then I'm going to just mix it up a little bit, try and combine it as best as I can with this spoon. And then once I feel that it is combined a decent amount, that is when your hands start going in. It is going to be a little squishy to begin with. It is going to be a little bit of a stickier dough, but once you add in your add-ins, it does come down a little bit. So I'm going to do the walnuts first, since those are prepped and ready. And just mix those in by hand. So wash my hand so that I am able to put in the chocolate chips real quick. So I just used the Enjoy Life allergen free. I've used Trader Joe's brand. I've used 365, so Whole Foods brand, the ones that don't have milk in them. It's always a semi-sweet chocolate for me. The people who eat them really like the mini chocolate chips better than the chocolate chunks. I personally do like the chocolate chunks, but I eat like 1 cookie at a time. So I just dump a full container in there, and we're gonna mix this by hand, and then I will tell you what we're gonna do next. And really, I'm not mixing it as I am just like squishing the chocolate chips into the dough. More like kneading, less mixing, I feel. I'm trying to get every single part of the dough to have some chocolate chips in them. Once I feel pretty good about how it is mixed up, it does form into a ball at this point. If you have your dough mixed, to me, every time I've done this, because of the handling and stuff, the butter gets soft, whether or not it's Earth Balance or the kind that I'm using today. So I like to stick it in the fridge and let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. The reason I do this is because I like a thick cookie. I like a thick, cakey, gooey cookie. And if the butter is soft, it's going to spread out. They do the same thing with sugar cookies. I just also do them with these cookies because I like them to be big boys. So I'm going to put these in the fridge for a little while just to cool down, make sure the butter is nice and cold. Then I will roll them out and put them on a baking sheet. While those are cooling, I like to get my baking sheets ready. So I do use parchment paper, and I put it on both of the sheets that we will be using. Then I'm also going to clean up my kitchen while those are cooling so that I'm working in a clean space. So it has been around, I'm gonna be honest, I folded laundry, I did dishes, I did all that stuff. So it has been a little bit longer than you probably need to do these cookies. So I am going to start scooping and putting them on one tray. I bake those, and then I do the other tray. I let it still cool because, again, I don't want the butter to get too warm. So I'm going to, I use a ice cream scooper to scoop out the cookies. I like big cookies, so I'm gonna make them big. So once I have them rolled out, I am going to put them in the oven for 11 to 13 minutes. I do 11, and then I see where we're at. Again, just like the snickerdoodles, they're gonna continue to cook and harden as they cool. And again, I like very gooey chocolate chip cookies, so I'm gonna bake them as least as I have to. While those are cooking, I'm gonna roll these ones out really quick and then stick them in the fridge so that they continue to be cold. And then I'll pull them out around 2 minutes before these are done. Now that all my cookies are rolled out, these ones are gonna chill in the fridge for the rest of the time that these bake. And then I'm going to do up this last bit of dishes so that all my dishes are done. This cookie dough is also delicious if you just want cookie dough. There's no egg in them, so the only thing that's a little sometimes concerning is unbaked flour. Sometimes I make a bigger batch and then just freeze the cookie dough also, and then take it out as I want to make cookies. So if I want like 2 cookies, I already have dough made, or I will just eat the cookie dough. This is what we're looking for when it comes to these cookies. They are still a little soft to the touch. You see a little bit of browning at the top. That's where you want them. I'm gonna let them cool on this baking sheet for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna move them over onto a cooling rack. Okay, time to taste test these cookies. Before I give them to people, I let them sit out for almost a whole like night because they are super gooey still once they come out of the oven. Like, it's a dream. The inside is just so gooey and the outside is still crunchy, so you still get a little bit of crisp from it, but the inside is just so gooey. As they sit out and as they cool, the texture will continue to change and become a little bit more complex. The gooiness turns to softness rather than just straight gooey. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but they're my favorite chocolate chip cookies to ever exist. Thank you again for hanging out with me on Vlogmas Day 14. If you make these cookies, let me know. Show me how you made them and what they look like, and if you liked them or not. And thank you again, and see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 15.